All right, what up, what up, what up? Another episode of Ball N Biz. We're trying to grow the platform, grow the podcast, most importantly, grow the conversation. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jeremy. Welcome back. As Ryan mentioned, welcome back to Ball N Biz. And this is all about business and ball because we are always talking about business first and foremost. We're in our young 30s trying to get our bread up. And then also ball because, we grew up D1 athletes and we want to continue that conversation just like barbershop talk, but it's here on the podcast platform. So let's get into it.
It's all about bringing everybody into our conversation. So we're going to start as always. Well, first, everybody, if you like the conversation, go ahead and give us a like right there. Subscribe. Give us a comment. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us how we're doing. If we suck, we suck. If we're great, we're great. Hopefully somewhere in between. But, we'll start with our usual comments, news and notes. Off the top, in the sports world, we got college football playoff. The final was set. Ohio State playing Notre Dame. We're going to have a big conversation about that coming up. NFL playoffs roll on. We had a big weekend last weekend. Couple good matchups coming up next weekend. Some we have some investment in as well. Hey, we had a nice little weekend with the bread. We're going to share what worked and what didn't. We're going to get into all that. Moving over to the business side of it, Bitcoin had a nice little dip earlier a couple days ago. Now it's back up to 96,000. So hopefully you bought the dip. Dow 42,000, S&P 5,800. So those are doing all right. There's a potential TikTok ban. We're gonna have an interesting conversation with that, Jeremy. We know you're the social media guru.
Try to be,
so to speak. But also, just a quick note about the market as well. Some investors nervous about inflation. So, John, have you ever heard of the producer price index?
I have not, but do tell.
Okay, so that rose less than expected, and that basically measures wholesale prices, and it increased less than expected in December. A lot of people worry about inflation. Obviously, people have been worried about inflation really for 2 years, where it hasn't been set enough, right? So, that's going to be interesting to see. Just something to keep an eye on. Obviously, President Trump going to be taking over here in a couple of days, so that could change the markets as well. Could get interesting, both in the crypto and on the market. So, definitely keep your eyes peeled and look for those opportunities because they will be there one way or another. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of the conversations. Obviously, NFL playoffs. And John, I'm gonna go ahead and start us off because over the weekend posted a little clip of the last episode. Trying to get some use social media for marketing, and dang near backfired. It was on me in the comments, dog. My inbox was getting lit up. So the pick I made was the Chargers to cover 3. They're gonna win by 3 or more, 3.5, or just 3. I bet not 3.5.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, when we make these picks, when we're thinking about a whole lot. So let me backtrack a little bit. So the playoffs, all about momentum. Who's coming in hot, right? Who's going to come in with the best momentum? The Houston Texans were everything but that, right? They were everything but that coming into the game.
And I'm actually going to pull that. I'm going to pull my bet up as you are talking. Okay, I got mine pulled up. Yeah, continue.
And so the Texans playing at home, yes, that was in their favor. CJ Stroud been a mess all season. Week 16, 244 yards, 2 picks, 2 tuds. Week 17, 185 yards, no TDs, 1 pick. Got into the playoffs due to a weak division. Your Colts had a little something to do with that.
They did.
Got smacked by the, and let's remember back the past few big games for the Texans too. Smacked on Christmas Day at home with Beyonce in the stands. Got cracked by the Ravens. Not a good sign.
On Netflix.
In front of everybody, eating their holiday hams. Got cracked by them. So
it was not blurry this time. We saw it loud and clear.
Hey, the couple days before that, they lost to the Chiefs. Not another perennial Super Bowl winner, and lost that game too. And then they barely beat a flailing Miami before that. And then on December 1st, beat the Jags by 3. And to do one better than that, they lost to the Titans at home the week before that. That's how they came into the playoffs with all that going on. So the momentum wasn't there. They're a mess. Quick one and done. On the flip side, let's talk about the Chargers. 3-game winning streak. They're getting healthy. They got the running back. The offense is clicking. Herbo playing with the 9th most passing yards in the league. He's got the legs to do it. They got Coach Jim Harbaugh on there. He's used to championships. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the Natty. Lat McConkey getting hot. 3 points, knowing all that coming into it. 3 points. All they got to do is win by 3, and they got that dick of the kicker. They got the kicker who can make it. If it came down to it, I said that's easy money.
Easy. Should have been a lock. But instead, they go out and lay a freaking egg.
So, John, so here's my point. Yeah, sometimes the bets will bite you in the butt. But, John, you're gonna relate when I say this right here. Loyalty. I'm big on that these days. Okay, I'm big on loyalty these days. And what Justin Herbert went out there and did betrayed me. He betrayed me. He betrayed Coach Harbaugh. He betrayed the franchise and the fan base. And there ain't no two ways about it. He threw 3 interceptions all season long. He threw 4 the other night. Come on, dude. Man, some of his interceptions were ignorant. Now, he had a couple runs, probably going to throw a pick. Texans do have a good defense. They do have good playmakers. We know that coach defensive mind. He was a coordinator out in 49 and stuff like that. Got the job, right? So that defense going to make plays. Man, he had 2 of them in the second quarter that were just so ignorant. Well, the first one, he overthrew Ladd McConkey. Ladd went up with all his vertical. Whatever it is, he went up for it. Interception. Herbo thought he was playing for the wrong blue team. Come on, dude.
Yeah. Wrong shade of blue.
Man, when he rolled out right in that second quarter at about 11:30 in the second quarter, rolled out right, threw it 35 yards across his body downfield. What are you doing? Betrayal.
How many playoff games has Herbert even won?
Well, Jar, and here's the one thing I didn't factor in. I did, but I thought Harbaugh would be the one to fix it. I thought Harbaugh could be the cure for all. Everybody knows them Chargers are cursed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The stench, that thickness is a little bit deeper than I initially thought. And, it bit me in the butt.
Yeah. It happens.
Social media to see.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. We love betting, but sometimes, luck isn't on our side that day. On the flip side of that, I put in a live bet for that game at basically the Houston Texans to cover at +6.5. I put in a live bet at halftime, freaking rolling at -125, and I was a winner. I was a winner in that regard. So, and I think it's also important to talk about different bet strategies. You are more so of a pregame guy. I'm more of an in-game guy.
I like the in-game. I like both.
Yeah. You utilize both, but I'm strictly just in-game. Both strategies work for sure. But I could see watching this game on TV that the Texans had the momentum around, second quarter, halftime. I went ahead and placed that. Still great odds at -125. Went ahead and chalked that in and put that in my back pocket.
Jerm, and I'm not going to get too off topic, but one thing, and we'll talk about this on another episode too, when you're doing like the DoorDash, when you're doing the Grubhub, doing the Uber Eats, one thing they tell you to do, use multiple apps. That way you can get the most opportunities coming to you. When I'm doing these bets, man, I'm on FanDuel. I'm on DraftKings. And when I can get to Virginia, because that's where it's legal here in Virginia, I'm on Hard Rock too. Why? All these people giving you coin boosts. Hey, here's a free $10 here. And here's a profit boost here. Here's a coin boost there. Why wouldn't I maximize it? Then you can do, if you're a parlay kind of guy or gal, then you can, hey, maybe I can do something a little more conservative. They're going to give me 33% off the top or 50% extra on the top. Now I can get a winner. And I don't have to put maybe that extra leg in that doesn't make me feel quite as comfortable about it. That one that's going to make or break. So get on multiple apps. Look, get on what you're comfortable. I don't want to tell somebody get on multiple apps if they just can't, control it. But, if you're sensible, obviously you think you can handle it, utilize what? They're giving away free money in the sense, sure, you have to win it, but they're going to help you out. It's like, 401k match at work. Why wouldn't I?
Right. And another thing, I know we're trying to stay on topic here, but I still think this is valuable. A lot of the different apps will offer different things. So what DraftKings offers sports-wise, DraftKings might offer water polo and FanDuel doesn't. So I think utilizing those different apps, I actually think FanDuel is probably the most offered sports-wise. I think they offer even a little bit more than DraftKings. So I think utilizing different apps in that way. Look, when gymnastics season rolls around, my wife is a freaking guru. So I'm gonna whatever app has gymnastics, I know she can. Hey, that's easy money. Yeah. So I think that's important to utilize.
Yeah, no doubt. It's all about different strategies. Use what you can do, and we're going to continue to talk about that coming up. But keep the conversation moving now that I talked about that betrayal by Justin Herbert. And one more thing. If I'm not a Chargers fan or anything like that, but I swear, if I saw his butt walking around LA, obviously, serious note, they got a lot going on. He may not be going home. He may be going somewhere else. But when they get that situation done, I don't want to see, and talking about the wildfires, I don't want to see Jay Herbo in Los Angeles or anywhere around town until after the Super Bowl. He better go to Cancun for 2 weeks. He better go to Oregon. I don't care where he go. He better not be in LA after throwing interceptions for no dang reason. And that one touchdown was garbage time.
Yep. Absolutely. I completely agree. That was uncalled for, and he's going to have a long offseason. Let me
move in topic because it's a big one. There's a lot of people talking. Then it's going to shake up the coaching landscape too. So we know Ravens beat the Steelers. It was ugly. We know how rivalry games go. It's not a college rivalry game, but it's a pro one. Steelers took a big L. Mike Tomlin, everybody's like, should he stay? Should he go? He's Mr. winning record, but he's also not a good playoff record in the past dang near decade. Yeah. Ever since Big Ben especially started to get over the hill, it's not been good for him. What do you think should happen to Mike Tomlin? What should he want to do? Let's talk about the organization. What are you thinking?
I think it's time to get a new quarterback because I don't think we got to start with the quarterback because typically when the quarterback is gone, sometimes they like to bring in a new head coach and a new quarterback. Let me start there. And oftentimes, because of this, I don't think Russell Wilson is your franchise future at all. Like, he's not. He's been in the league for a long time.
What about Justin Fields?
Justin Fields. That's a great question. I think Justin Fields is a really good quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise guy. I don't. And because of that, I think they need fresh faces. I think they need fresh quarterback faces, and I also think they need a fresh head coach face. So I do think it's time for Tomlin to go. That old job security of his, I think, needs to go out the window. I think the Steelers, due to their history, I think they want to get back to being a winning franchise, and I don't think Tomlin provides that anymore. And I think a bigger conversation is that I don't think they have the quarterback that they need anymore. And I think fresh faces at both positions, meaning the quarterback and the head coach, can do the Steelers great wonders.
So you think they should blow it up? What you saying?
Yes. I don't think it's a winning franchise right now.
Yeah.
I think they can win football games, sure, but I know their franchise at winning football games isn't good enough. We got to get back to the Super Bowl, period.
So I agree with you for the most part. Here's the wrinkle that I have. Now, in the quest for acquiring assets, yeah, we're going to blow it up. They do have a quarterback problem. I probably move on maybe from Russ. If I really can't get a good deal, just let Justin Fields hold it down for a while we get things together. But here's what I would do. If I'm the Steelers and Tomlin, this is what I would want. Trade me. It's happened. Well, it happened not this last season, but 2 years ago with Sean Payton. Remember Sean Payton?
You can trade a head coach?
Yes, you can trade anybody.
Oh, trade
with the team, isn't he?
Okay.
I mean, Sean Payton was traded from the Saints to the Broncos. That's how he got there. Remember, he retired. His deal wasn't over. They still owned his rights. John Gruden back in the day was traded.
Okay. Pack my bags and trade me to the next city.
So I put together, so speaking of the next city, I put together a list of a couple of teams who I think he would be a good fit for, right? Cowboys. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm calling. And you just saw the news with Mike McCarthy. They're looking for a new leader. The problem with the Cowboys literally isn't the roster. They've had the talent for years. More so in years past than this year. But they got a couple more holes this year than they have in years past. But still, they've had the talent. They have the talent on there to do something. Right?
If the Super Bowl was played on paper, they would win it.
They just don't have discipline. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, for the most part, Mike Tomlin's going to bring discipline. Only reason I had that hesitation is because he's got that rap sheet of long, disgruntled wide receivers. All the boys that you know who don't act right. Deontay Johnson can't act right. George Pickens. I mean, I don't even know if he wants to be there. AB, he was bad. Juju. Chase Claypool, need I go on? Besides that, the rest of the franchise seemed disciplined. So I'm gonna give Mike Tomlin the benefit of the doubt here. Say he can bring some discipline to the Cowboys, and they have a defense that he can work with. We know he's more of a defensive guy. Number 2, the Jets. They also need a leader. Yes, they do need a quarterback, but that defense is still locked and loaded and ready to go. They still do have skill position guys. If you can figure out the quarterback, he'll be good. And he'll also bring some stability to that organization. Because it's not just Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't just the coach. It's not even just the GM. It's the owner too. It's the whole thing is a mess. And you need a guy to come in and clean it up. I think Mike Tomlin's the guy who could do that. Now, obviously, he's still going to need that quarterback. But that's a question that can be answered. Look, you're gonna find this answer interesting. Now, I know the coach is relatively new there, but your Colts, they need a culture change. Mike Tomlin brings that culture change.
I like that, and I'm gonna chime in on this one because that is my hometown. You know, they play 30 minutes away, and Steichen is not the guy for the job. Chris Ballard, the GM, and Steichen are both on the hot seat. They literally got lent another year, and they know that both of them are on the hot seat. And the reason for that is because we can't perform, especially defensively. And bringing in a more defensive-minded head coach in Mike Tomlin, along with the toughness that he brings.
Yep.
Can I emphasize the toughness that he brings?
The what?
Because the toughness that he brings, because the Colts lack a lot of toughness, they lack a lot of grit, they lack a lot of discipline, and I mainly say we lack discipline because they even said that Anthony Richardson wasn't doing what he needed to do outside of the football field, meaning discipline, tape, therapy, training, conditioning, that type of stuff. Lacking discipline at the quarterback position is going to trickle down, so that starts up top. And I think, yes, to your point, we do need somebody with some grit, and so, we need a Dan Campbell type of guy in that locker room. And I think Mike Tomlin is a great candidate for that. Like I said, along with the defensive mind, because our defense is awful. I mean, heck, we need Robert Saleh. The New York Jets got rid of him. We'll take him as our next D coordinator because we fired Gus Bradley due to giving up 40 points a game. That's not
battling it up, though.
So, I mean, look,
you'll find somebody.
Yeah, we need some toughness in here. And I also know because of that, he's not opposed to bringing in competition in the camp at the quarterback position. We saw it.
We can bring
he can bring Justin with him.
That's what I mean, Justin.
He can bring Justin with him. Justin Fields, that is. He can bring him with him. Hey, we got quarterback 1A and we got quarterback 1B going into camp. We'll get
to be the same. One of you gonna win the job. We ain't changing the plays.
Hey, we're not changing the plays. Y'all the same person. Y'all the same person back there. Let's see who wins it. And in my opinion, Fields would win it. I think Richardson would be given the job, but you got 3 games. No, it's camp. It's a camp battle. Whoever gets battle. Hey, you know how it is. After practice, we watching film. Grade out. What them grades like? Yeah,
because they both can do the same thing, except Justin can throw a little better.
Chris Ballard the GM already said he's bringing in competition in the camp. And I think Mike Tomlin started that trend. I'm bringing competition. I'm bringing luggage with me. I'm Dion. I'm bringing luggage with me if I'm Mike Tomlin.
Justin ain't Louis, though.
Hey, I ain't saying he Louis, but shoot.
He ain't Louis.
He Amazon branded. Hey, he ain't no Louis. Dion said, I'm bringing luggage with me. I'm not calling him Louis, but he is. Hey, we can get it delivered at the doorstep. Hey, we're going to fight for the job at least.
Yeah.
Good quality, not name brand.
Yeah, okay. I feel that. Okay. He'll get the job done. Last team I want to mention, and this team I think he'd be a real good fit for. The one Chicago Bears, another cold weather team, a historic franchise built on defense and legacy. They need leadership. And unlike the last couple spots, except the Cowboys, they got a quarterback. Caleb's not bad. He was put in a lot of bad positions. They need help on the O-line. They have some roster things they want to do. From a skill position, they're there. You got to plug and pop a couple places. But Tomlin, he will be a great fit there. Bring that steel, because it's pretty similar deals what they got. That Steelers, run the ball, play football, cold weather, yada, yada. Chicago Bears, same thing. And I think he could be a really good addition for them, though. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure as the offseason goes on, we're going to find out more and more about where these coaches are going. And if Coach Tomlin's going to be calling his realtor, putting his house up for sale in Pittsburgh, or if he's going to be staying home, eating those pierogies, because that's what they eat up there in Pittsburgh. So then last game, this is one we talked about a lot. Last night, Rams versus Vikings. We talked about that one a lot. We said it was written in the stars. And I hate the Rams. I don't want to root for them. I don't want to put money on them. I don't want to do anything for that team that was stolen from us. Dang near 9 years ago, 9 years, dang near to the day. But you know what? With everything going on, once again, serious note, LA wildfires, not a good deal. Hopefully they get that crowd up. But, sometimes when you have all that noise going on behind you, it can galvanize you, right? And that team is galvanized. And to be honest with you, Jerm, they've been playing real good football for a while. First couple of weeks, they went, 1-5 to start the season? They went 1-4, my bad. 1-4 to start the season. They came into the season with a lot of injuries too, banged up. But since then, they just started rolling. So they've been galvanized. Then to have something like this and everything that went on with that, I said, come on, they ain't losing that ball game. And they smacked them boys.
Oftentimes, when tragedy happens, it can bring you together as a city.
Right.
It's unfortunate that they had to find out that way. But as you and I discussed before the game, we thought Minnesota had no shot.
Yeah.
Even with the 14-2, 14-3 record,
the
Vikings had no shot at winning that game, at all. We understand that it was a mutual sight. We get all that.
Yeah.
But the Vikings had no shot from the jump. We took money line Rams pregame, and I'm not even a pregame guy. Yeah. I was that confident, and they were dogs too. They were underdogs going into that game, as they should be.
Yeah.
But I said there was literally no way in any world that the Rams were going to lose that game, and we served ourselves right. It was a nice
pregame. I dipped back in at halftime. They had Rams at 6.5, even though I think it was 17-3. I said it was easy money. A couple minutes after that, they punched another one in. I said, oh, yeah, I went to bed easy with my feet kicked up. And had Kyron had 2 TDs. See, I thought they were going to run the ball a ton, being up. And Kyron had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I'd be in Cancun with him. Look, I'd be in Cancun with the Vikings, okay? Because I would have been paid. But, the other thing, flip side of this too, Vikings did have a real good season. They had that good defense. They had some good elements. JJ's always going to ball. But you could tell during the game, that game was just, you could tell the ball wasn't rolling that way. One of the Sam Darnold things, one of the Sam Darnold sacks, JJ tripped out the gate, so he couldn't throw it. Sack, line wasn't blocking nobody.
Score, touchdown.
Stafford, the forward shovel pass, that was an incomplete pass, but a fumble. And when you ain't getting that, I knew midway through the second, I said they need to go ahead and gas up the plane and get us on the body here, because this ball game going bad and going back fast, and there ain't sometimes ain't nothing you can do about it.
There was no way in any world that the Vikings were ever going to win that game. I mean, they had 9 sacks in an NFL game at any level. It doesn't even matter. High school football, Pee Wee, Pop Warner, I don't care. 9 sacks in one game is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And one of them was a forced fumble, strip sack, touchdown.
Yeah, it was ugly.
And it wasn't just a 10-yard score. That boy, hey, my defensive end Pro Bowler, he went about 60 on him.
Yeah. I think the one big loser in all this, Sam Darnold's he's had an overall good season, no doubt.
They got a decision.
But he cost himself a couple million, at least 10 million.
Few million, for sure.
Between week 18 with the Giants, not with the Giants, with the Lions, when they did that, missing throws, he missed a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Not a good game. He came into this game with a lot of questions. He'd never been under those lights before. First playoff game. Obviously, he's been on some bad teams.
Yeah. He threw some bad balls yesterday too. Bad balls.
And he was holding on to that rock too long. It wasn't all his fault, but when you get back quarterback play, it's going to be hard to overcome that overall. It wasn't all his fault. There were some other things that went wrong too. One, the momentum. The football god said y'all ain't gonna win this anyway. But there was just other things happening too. So enough about last weekend. Let's talk about these games coming up here. Let me set it up for us. So the divisional round: Texans at Chiefs, Washington Commanders at Detroit Lions, LA Rams at the Eagles, Ravens at Bills. Who you like? Pick one. Which one of those games you like the most?
I like the Rams Eagles. I think that's an interesting matchup. Eagles high expectations. You know, they've been here before.
Yeah.
We always talk about how, you know, there's good teams, but I think you become great when you've experienced it before, right?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has been there. They've done that. They had some questions. I think the Eagles are interesting conversations. They finished the season horrible last year.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of questions, you know, the Kelsey brother, he retires, you know, they won't be able to do the tush push anymore, whatever. Jalen Hurts problems in the locker room. And then they come back and have a really strong season with a huge acquisition. Saquon Barkley going over 2,000, you know. They had a lot of questions coming into the season, and they answered the bell. They answered the call. And with that high expectation, you know, they're expected, you know, they've been there before. And I think this matchup is interesting because the Rams do have a lot of momentum. They're like, hey, you know, we're feeling together with the city. We're feeling one with the city. We just beat a really strong Vikings team with arguably the best defense in the league in the Vikings. We just beat them very easily, if you will. It's going to be an interesting matchup. That's one that, you know, I might not even touch bet-wise because I don't know who's going to win that football game. I don't know who's going to win that football game. I really don't. I'm not confident on either side, to be honest with you. So I do like that matchup. It's gonna be a great football game. I truly don't know who's going to win. But the question was, what game do I like? And it's that one.
I thought you'd say Ravens Bills. That's MVP versus MVP, good defense versus good defense, cold weather team. Two teams been knocking on the door. But I'm not going to say that one, actually. I'm going to say, you know, I'm here in D.C. Let me tell you, when I moved here a couple years ago now at this point, they said it's not a sports city. They said Commanders, bad. Baseball, bad. Wizards, don't talk about them. But let me tell you what, Jerm, that Jaden Daniels done brought some hope to the city, boy. He done brought a hope that this city hadn't seen since Obama. Okay? He brought a hope to the city. I love that Washington Commanders at Detroit Lions. Both teams. Now here, I do think that the Lions will win the game. I think they're a year or two ahead of where the Commanders are in terms of that progress. I mean, the Commanders, I'll tell you one thing, they're clutch. We've seen them come up with clutch win after clutch win, whether it be last week, whether that be the Hail Mary versus the
Hail Mary.
Caleb. That Jaden Daniels makes plays when you need him the most with his arm, with his legs. I love the coach. The defense is solid. They got the weapons around him. Terry Mack, Scary Terry, he's a leader at the wideout position, and he doesn't put too much pressure on that.
Shout out to Naptown. Shout out Naptown.
He is from Nap. Where'd he go to high? Where'd he go?
Cathedral High School. Shout out.
When they'll see. He smack y'all?
Oh, we didn't play him. I'm a little older than him.
But he Terry, they got the right team, but they still probably need another year. The Lions are probably going to give them that thump they need so they can get over the hump, the same way the Lions got that thump by the 49ers last year in that NFC Championship game that I'm still mad at Dan Campbell about for going on fourth down all them dang times instead of kicking the dang ball. But Dan Quinn, speaking of going for a fourth down, Dan Quinn went for it on fourth down a couple times, and he got it. He didn't get the first one, but he got the next couple, or it was one or two. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, they got a good team. They got it. But the Lions, they've been there. They know what it's like. They've been waiting for they've been waiting for January 2025 since last January. Okay? And Dan Campbell ain't let them forget. St. Brown hadn't let them forget. Jared Goff hadn't let him forget. Remember, Goff wins, he gets to go, and the Rams win, he gets to go play his old team again. And then what? Remember, they wrote him off, right? I was there when they drafted him. Didn't want him to draft him, but he's actually playing really good football these days. There's a lot on the line. And them coaches, no matter who gets hurt on that Lions team, they still find that next man up mentality. You love to see it. And the weapons, tight end, wide out, the wide out from St. Louis, Williams, who finally stand on the field, whether it be health or behavioral things. He's staying on the field. Sam Laporta, he's also a St. Louis area guy. He's right across the river in Illinois. Ball player. The kicker, Jake Bates. He's the punter from St. Louis, but Jake Bates, the kicker, he's a ball player too. He's knocking them back. That's an XFL guy. Yeah. I support that too. Yeah. So they have a lot of things going for them, and I think they're gonna get it. but it's going to be a good game. I wonder. I'm interested to see what the spread's going to be on that one.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But I think it's their year. I think they should have went to the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for head coach. If it wasn't for head coach last year, the Lions would have been in the Super Bowl. So
well, hold on now. As much as I am still mad at Dan Campbell, that boy should have caught that ball on third down too. Reynolds.
That's true. That's true.
Come on, dude.
That's true. But his
boneheaded, had a locker to go to after the game.
His continued boneheaded ego play calling is the reason why they lost that football game. I stand by that. It was the worst coaching job I had seen in a really long time, and it cost them a trip to the Super Bowl. So hopefully he learned from that, and they'll be there this year. So we'll see. Well,
they say he's a coach that he is because he's aggressive. So like you said, we'll see.
We win aggressive, we lose aggressive, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you
win by it and die by
it. He stuck with a girl he took to the dance, or however it goes.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this one. Here's the natty. This one, this is the one we got circled every year. Love to see the natty. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. John, talk to me.
Yeah. I texted you earlier and I said, because Notre Dame is big dogs. And as you guys know, if you're an underdog, there's more money to be made. So I asked Ryan if there's any shot that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish out of South Bend, Indiana, can beat the Ohio State Buckeyes in the national championship on Monday. And he replied, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not only banged up, but even healthy, Notre Dame still doesn't have a shot. And Notre Dame is not healthy. They are banged up, and there's no possible way that they can beat a strong Ohio State team. Ryan Day has shown that he can win bigger games now. Ryan Day, I think, was on the hot seat coming into this season because he was Ryan Day, the Ohio State head coach.
He was on the hot seat 3 weeks ago. He was on the hot seat at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. And the big debate with him is he can't win a big football game, and I think he's proved it throughout this college football playoff that he can. And there's no shot. And Ryan Day's playing for his football life, or at least for his football life in Ohio State on the Ohio State sideline. So I do think Ohio State goes off and wins the national championship. And, shout out to Indiana for making it this far after losing week 1 to a very, very, very bad NIU football team.
Yeah, they really turned it around. You just felt that magic all season with them. When we talked after that NIU loss, and we said, Freeman was in the 80s office and his Sunday's best 8 a.m. sharp, right? Now, I'll pull through the facility later this afternoon. I want to bring some sandwiches. That's how they probably talking because everything's way smoothed over now. But here's one thing that I did. I'm trying to pull up the odds and see what the odds are. Ooh, that Ohio State now it's 8.5. I thought it was 6.5 earlier.
Yeah, it's 8.5 now, which means people are just continuing to bet for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. You're probably going to see it slide even a little bit more as we get closer to Monday.
Yeah. They're going to cover that. Matter of fact, I'm putting my thing in right now. Go ahead.
As we speak, he's punching.
Hey, 8.5. Go ahead. I just punched it because, before that gets out of hand even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about it. Yeah, not India. Notre Dame. You said Indiana. Notre Dame, they're so banged up on the line. We know the running back, shout out to STL, Jeremiah Love. He's even banged up, even though he had 40 yards in a tud the other week. Them things, the knee injuries, that thing's not getting any better. Mm-hmm. And them boys ain't doing nothing but hitting out there. Ohio State, they're going to come with it. They heard all the disrespect. That's a team with an elite level roster. I think, don't they have the highest NIL payroll, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, as they should.
So they got dudes. They got transfers. They got Chip Kelly. They got dudes over there holding the clipboard and on the field that can make the plays. But here, let me talk about one dude, though. Let me talk about the most important dude over there. Now, Jeremiah Smith, the freshman wideout we've been talking about all season.
Dog.
When he played Oregon, 187 and 2 tuds. Last week, 1 catch, 3 yards. I expect that to change. He's not. He's built like that. He saw that. He knows what it is. He's probably thinking, hey, let's be real. Let's keep it a buck. He's probably thinking, we're gonna win this one. What I'm saying?
They couldn't get him involved. What happened?
Just quiet game. I had put a little.
That's gonna change.
Because I thought he'd go off. I mean, he'd been going off all season. One game, and they could have game planned him up. Obviously, whatever happened, it was enough for Ohio State, the Buckeyes, to get the win. So it doesn't matter. But he don't want his. Hey, he about to go out here and fight for draft prospects. He's not even up for the draft for another 2 seasons. He's about to go out here and try and get it. So you can expect. I'm expecting him to have a big game. I put a ticket together with him on like yards and anytime touchdown. That didn't hit last game. I'll probably do the same again. Just because when you get a guy with that type of mentality, that attitude, and he's got that game like that, come on, Chip Kelly said, "What are we doing?" If they really taking him away, then they take him away. But Notre Dame, I expect them to go off at least 50 in a ton. Let's be real about it. So there's obviously,
I don't see why he wouldn't. It's a big bounce back game.
So let's talk about, moving off the field a little bit. Man, this college football, I know I just talked about NIL with Ohio State. So listen, this is a story outside of the natty that everybody's talking about. Former Georgia quarterback Carson Beck commits to the U. And they said his NIL deal, the U right there, NIL deal, $4 million this season. And I think over the past month, he's made like $10 million according to his manager, his NIL manager or whatever. I read that somewhere. And it's like, man, but no, there's a couple factors. Obviously, the money, and $4 million is way more than he would get paid if he's going to go into the league. There's a lot of young starting quarterbers. Caleb, who's the boy, and
Jay Daniels. Jay Daniels is on that list.
He's Bo Nick. He's making more than all of them in college, and they went to the pros. There's another thing too. Those are first rounders, Jerm.
Those are first rounders and playoff quarterbacks.
Right. But Carson Beck, but here's the thing. Well, I say first rounders in terms, you're getting the money where you're drafted at too. Your draft slot matters. But Carson Beck wasn't going in the first round. I don't know if he's going in the second either. I don't know. Obviously, a lot changes between the end of the season, the combine, the workouts, the team makeup, whatever, the trades. But so he was going to get way less than that. Do you like the way, given this new era of NIL, this new twist and turn, every week, every month is dang near a new twist and turn. Do you like this move? How do you feel about this? Not going to the draft, leaving Georgia, a perennial powerhouse, and going to the U. Mind you, as a guy, we all know how this goes. We know his very famous girlfriend also plays basketball for the U too. And I'm sure she had a hand in saying, why not South Beach? But how do you feel about this move?
Hey, and I hope she got her commission for that too. Hey, I hope she got her commission because, I think the money, as somebody who loves business, and I'm all for getting paid. Sure. Get it while you can, because look, if I was in that position, hey, give me my money as well. Do I think that college athletes should be getting paid more than pros? No, I don't. I just don't. Pros are pros, and they should, and they're pros for a reason. I don't think that college athletes should be getting paid more than pros. Now, granted, there are, and I know there's two sides to that argument. I know that there are some bigger names in college than in the pros. I get all that too. Arch Manning, he has a last name. I get it. Travis Hunter, he has a name. Lil Sanders, I get it. I get those type of anomalies. But do I think off the rip that Carson Beck deserves more money than Jaden Daniels? Absolutely not. You feel me? No, I don't. Absolutely not. So Carson Beck, I've said from the jump, Georgia has a great roster with a mid quarterback. He's a very average quarterback. He can look good at times. He can look absolutely trash at times. There's a reason why he's staying is because his draft stock decreased, first and foremost. And no, he's not a first-round quarterback. But let me get back to the question. Do I think it's good for the game? Yes, I do. I do think it's from a developmental standpoint, I think it's good for the game. There's a lot of times people, especially now, NBA and NFL, people are complaining about, especially the quarterback play. They're complaining that the quarterbacks are coming in undeveloped. It's funny because I live in Indianapolis, and Anthony Richardson, underdeveloped quarterback. Had he stayed at Florida for 2 more seasons, we wouldn't have been seeing the struggles that we're seeing now, because he's trying to treat the NFL as if it's the G League. Like, the NFL is not a developmental league. You should come already developed. The NFL is a fine-tuning league. You should already come developed. We're not looking to oh, we need to perfect this out route. We need to perfect this goal. Like, we need to develop into that. No, you need to come already developed, which is why you got here. The NFL in college, the big difference is in college, a lot of times you're going to get a scholarship based on potential. Like, oh, this guy's 6'8", 300 pounds. He's going to be a great left tackle one day. That's cool. But first rounders, the number 4 pick, Anthony Richardson, shouldn't get drafted on potential at the number 4 spot. That's not what the NFL is. And so I do think it is good for people to stay in college and get more developed so that we can see improved, especially quarterback play, because I think everything stems from the quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. If you have a good quarterback, you can go really far. Just ask the Kansas City Chiefs. So, yes, I think it's good for the game, but do I think the dollar amount needs to exceed NFL comparables, meaning quarterback to quarterback, defensive end to defensive end? No, I don't think that it should exceed that. So maybe it's one of them things where maybe the NFL needs to bump their pay and keep the college pay where it is and bump their pay. There's a lot that goes into that. I get it, but I don't think comparables should be making more than comparables. No, I don't.
You hit my point, the nail on the head, so to speak. At the end of the day, Jeremy, it's America, and we're built on capitalism. Whoever's got the best deal, I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe the NFL does need to bump their pay up. Otherwise, you could get to a point, especially in this land of where guys could just stay in college forever. Hey, if I'm not, your first rounders are probably going to go because the ceiling in a couple of years is going to be way higher than anything you make in college. We know that. First rounders are going to go. But when you're looking at 2, 3, 4, where you still get some quality players, some names, you're going to get some college names and, guys with question marks like Carson Beck or somebody like that. Yeah, you could see a drop-off in talent. It's going to get real interesting what teams are going to do. I think they're going to have to raise at least the money to some degree, make it worthwhile. You could even see, if you think about it if you had just a generational guy. And it was the right guy, and you offer him Carson Beck getting $4 million. Let's just say you offer him $10 million. Hey, stay here, win us a natty at, I don't know, Mizzou, wherever. Here's $10 million. I'm going to put off a year in the league to go make $10 million. That's easy.
Me too.
If the league doesn't up their money or do something, or somebody put guardrails on this NIL, look at Quinn Ewers, the Texas quarterback. You brought up Arch Manning. Quinn Ewers going to be on the road. Quinn Ewers was one of the poster childs for NIL when it first came out. Remember, he went to Ohio State on $1 million deal just to ride the pine. Then transfer because CJ was going to start. And no shame to him. He needed to go, and he needed to go to Texas. Go back home. You see what he's doing. And it's not a knock on him at all, but he made the right decision. But it's like, Quinn Ewers might do the same thing Carson Beck. Somebody can offer him 3, 3.5, $4 million. Hey, we just need a QB. Come stabilize us real quick. We got your weapons. We got your dogs. So, yeah, NFL, the money's going to change. This NIL landscape is always changing. Can't knock Carson Beck going down there to the U. Why not? And then football don't work out, and you already got a house down.
He's like, hold on. He's like, let me get this right. My draft stock is going down because I'm not a good quarterback. My girlfriend is famous and plays for the U, and I can make more money on South Beach than I would in the league to go to a bad Raiders team. Oh, shoot. Count me in.
Bad Raiders team, ride the pine team. It don't matter. It's not going to be 92,000 or however many cents.
Let me add this up. Yeah, let me go to South Beach and get my 4 mil. And
let me go that way.
And I'm in the same city with my girl.
Same city? You in the same house, probably.
Yeah, count me in.
Don't get in trouble now, young man.
Hey, look, like I said, I hope she got her commission because she was a big part in getting them down there. So the U program owes her a little break off too.
Have you ever been down to the U? Have you ever been on campus?
Nah.
Woo!
Hey, look, I need to stay away. Nah, I'm cool.
I told you my homie's brother was down there. My homie had his bachelor party there a few years ago. We picked his brother up from campus. John, let me just say this. You remember BU, right? Hey, great time. BU did the greatest for us. I'd do it again.
Treated us well.
It wasn't that though. Yeah. Boy, I'm walking through campus and it's just girls screaming out, screaming. They really call, my homie's brother. Obviously on campus, big dude on campus. Hey, I'm like, who calling this? Hey, bro, just around the bushes. Hey, they all just out there. Everybody at the pool.
Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't have graduated. That's why
Yeah.
I didn't even apply.
Yeah, absolutely not. No chance. I'm coming here to play football, and there's a ton of other distractions outside of the football field. There's too many palm trees for me. Send me up north.
Hey, bro.
Send me up north.
Maybe coming in as a senior, he'll have that discipline he needs,
Mm-hmm.
especially after Kirby Smart. Kirby teaches discipline down there in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Switching gears real quick, we try to keep it balanced on here. Obviously, we've done a lot of sports lately. It's just a heavy sports time. We do like to talk business. Don't forget that. The money comes first, as we've discussed here recently. Jeremy, the TikTok ban set to go in effect here by January 19th. So in April, President Biden signed a law that requires the company that owns TikTok, ByteDance, to sell by January 19th, primarily due to security reasons. ByteDance is a Chinese-owned company. America doesn't want American data being harbored and used against us by China, essentially. So I bring that to our podcast to talk about the impact social media has on marketing our companies or your companies or marketing companies across the country. TikTok has 170 million monthly users in the US, 7 million small businesses, according to TikTok and the Oxford Economics. They did like a joint report. That's 7 million companies right there. 69% of businesses say TikTok has led to increased business and sales the last year. Start off broadly. Talk about how important social media has been for you growing your companies.
Yeah, social media is everything. I've been actively posting on social media for the past, 3-4 years strong. I do a lot of marketing for companies on social media. I've made a lot of money, a whole lot of money from social media, more than I could have ever, even when I was working my corporate shirt and tie job out of college, I'm bringing in more money on social media than I am that whole job. So as somebody who was in it, it's really not only for the influencers who make money off of these brands, but for the brands themselves who use TikTok as a marketing tactic and, to increase their revenue, that they're counting on TikTok to be present. And the fact that it's not about to just be stripped away is absolutely insane. And I think that somebody like Elon Musk should go in and buy it, and so that it stays around, because that has been speculated that he is interested in purchasing TikTok. And as a billionaire, it would just be like a penny to him.
Billionaire? You're like a trillionaire right now.
Hey, I don't even know anything above a millionaire. So look, it's all a lot, so it's like, hey,
he can afford it.
Hey, it's like a penny to him. So it's like, hey, why not, to keep the American people happy?
Yeah, he's $416 billion. My bad. Yeah, he can afford it.
1,400 billion. It's the same thing. Infinity is what it is.
One thing I've learned about entrepreneurship, no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you have control, whether you don't have control of it, is you got to adapt, right? Got to adapt. Okay, TikTok going, fine, accept that. Hey, you can fight if you want, but really, a small business in Timbuktu, Oregon, you're not coming up here to Capitol Hill and getting all these people to change their mind, because it went through Congress and it wasn't even close. So that's not going to happen. TikTok's going to go unless somebody buys it. What do? Hey, utilize other apps, right? Go double down on Instagram, double down on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Double down on Facebook. Hey, what else are you going to do? There's other social media platforms out there too, albeit a little bit more extraneous. Do that. Look for other marketing opportunities. How else can I do it? Because at the end of the day, situations happen all the time. There's businesses in California being impacted by wildfires. They're not, they're doing what they got to do to make sure that they can open the doors as soon as possible. It's not their fault, but it's just, you got to adapt.
Yeah.
And
you got to pivot. You got to pivot.
When you talk about, have you noticed, or, was there ever a point in time where you noticed, hey, I've been going hard on this social media and I just noticed that my numbers start to shoot? Or what's that been like? And talk about the growth and how quick you've seen it.
Yeah, so the growth is real, especially as you stay consistent. Like, you can for real shoot up. I know it sounds so cliche to just like, oh, you just got to stay consistent, but like, it's absolutely true. If you have a consistent posting schedule, 1 to 2 days a week, like, for real, you'll shoot up. You may lose some followers on the way, but you'll start to gain your niche following, and they'll start telling people about it, and the algorithm will start being more nice to you, and the more exposure, the more followers or subscribers that you'll get. So it's been absolutely great for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's social media. We'll talk about that. Maybe that'd be a good topic to talk about later on too.
Yeah.
Maybe in the summer months, maximizing social media leverage and doing what you can do. Cause that's free, and a lot of other marketing you got to pay for, which is good and bad. You get what you pay for sometimes too. So one thing too, Jerm, I talk about this with you and I'm going to bring the conversation online now too. Man, we cover a lot of games in person. Going to the basketball games, going to the college game. I go to some college basketball games, going to the Colts games, everything that you go to. WNBA, can't forget about the ladies, right? So I know, I'm going to make sure we cover that when we, do our weekly podcast because it is dang near weekly at some point. So this Thursday, the Suns coming in town to play the Wizards. Obviously the Wizards aren't that good. I've seen a couple of wins, honestly. So, somebody said I'm their good luck charm, really, because half the time I'm there, dang near they winning. They play teams hard, so it's not horrible, but they're playing.
They're not expected to win.
Yeah, they're going to get blown out. It's really can they cover or not? And normally the spread's like 15. But the Suns got a good team. KD and D Book, they're going to be here. They combined averaging more than 50 points. They play with each other over the summer. They're they're 10th in the West right now. Yeah, we know the West is tough, and the Suns built like that.
Yeah, they're
just a win and get in team. They got Brad Beal, that's STL right there. Yeah. He's coming back to DC, so I expect him to go off too. They could put up a show. I'll probably take the Suns to cover. I don't care what it is, as long as it's under 20. I'll take the Suns to cover.
Yeah. Hey,
it'll be a good game though. Wizards, they do play teams tough. They do have some guys go out there. Sometimes I think the coaching. I don't know what's going on with the coaching. Because sometimes guys are getting minutes, sometimes they're not. Valanciunas can dang near give him a double-double if he let him. But and they play better when he's out there. But enough about them. That was probably way too much about them anyway. Jerm, who are you seeing this week? Because I know you got Indy.
Yeah, Indianapolis or Indiana Pacers versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. We beat them on Sunday, fair and square. They had this super long league-leading NBA or league-leading winning streak. And we came in a crib and smacked them. Also without our all-star and Tyrese Halliburton for the whole second half. And we're going to run it back again tonight. They come into the crib, Cleveland versus Pacers at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Indiana is home. And I'm taking Pacers money line because Halliburton's not playing.
Well, he's game time decision.
Okay, yeah, game time decision. But if he does not play, I'm going to the game. If game starts at 7 p.m. sharp. If he's there warming up and he ain't shooting no shots, that means he's not playing. So at 6:52, I'm putting Pacers money line because we improve drastically defensively when he does not play.
Yeah.
And against those better teams, meaning the Cavaliers, they're the number one team in the NBA, you need defense first and foremost. And he's a liability on defense. And I know this because I watch every single game and I'm at half of them. He's a liability on defense, and Donovan Mitchell is coming. He's coming. And it's good to put somebody who shows effort on the defensive end against him. And if Hallie's on the bench, we improve drastically. Chalk it up, Pacers money line. Run it back to back.
I love it. My pick of the week, I'm going to go ahead. You saw me. I punched it in during the show. Ohio State, 8.5 now. It ain't going to be close. And I think they're over there ready. So give me Ohio State for the spread. Let's hope them boys do their job, unlike last week when that burned me on that one. But that's another episode of Ball N Biz. We're going to catch up with y'all next week. Lot to cover. We're going to have a lot more progress. Things are going to be a whole lot different. We're going to have some great topics for you. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jeremy. Peace.